The big reunion is back, and 6 bands from the 90s and noughties are reuniting to perform at a monumental pop extravaganza.
Whoa, you know, do we really want to do this?
Nothing compares to being out there on stage in front of 20,000. Nothing comes close.
But after more than a decade apart, will it be a regrettable shambles?
We've all got bad backs, you know, dodgy knees. It's gonna be terrible.
I have no idea what we are gonna look like as a band, and that scares the shit out of me.
This is the big reunion.
I always felt like there should be that happy ending, that here's the grand finale.
This week under the spotlight, it's A1 and Eternal.
I don't think that their behaviour was kind. I was on my own and I felt like they had each other.
If you haven't got anything good to say, say nothing. So there you go, hence the Bennett silence for over 15 years.
Unfortunately, 4 young girls got squashed to death at the signing.
If we hadn't been there, those people would still be alive.
In the late 90s, you couldn't open a teen mag or turn on Saturday morning TV without seeing the fresh-faced A1 chaps smiling and often winking back at you.
Hi, we're A1!
They rocketed up the charts, scoring 8 top 10 hits, including 2 record-breaking number 1s. As their popularity went into overdrive, the elegantly coiffed quartet overwhelmed Asia and sold a massive 10 million records worldwide before their tragic demise in 2002.
We're gonna take a break as A1 for a while. We just gotta let you all know, we'll be back.
Now Ben, Christian and Mark are reuniting, but one member down. Who's gonna play the tambourine?
Paul is not a part of A1 for me, and he wasn't at the end. We carried on for a year after he left.
Yes, people are going to be saying, where's Paul? Yes, people are going to be saying, oh, well, you're not the full lineup. But the truth is, our band actually ended as a 3-piece.
All we've got at the moment is a lot of unexplained questions, probably from both sides. Don't know how he's feeling, don't know who he is anymore. You know, doesn't even want to meet up to discuss it all. You know, it's bizarre. It's odd.
The story of A1, who were named after a road, started when the same management team that created generation-defining rock giants Steps were looking to unleash a new boy band on a new generation of fans. 22-year-old dancer Paul successfully backflipped his way through the auditions to be joined by Norwegian performing arts student Christian.
I got an email one day from my songwriting teacher saying, if you want to be in a boy band, this could be your big break. I turned to the guy sitting next to me and I asked, what's a boy band? I had no idea.
Next came 19-year-old Mark, who was spotted in a nightclub.
This guy came over to me, he invited me to come along and have a meeting with him. And I said to him that a friend of mine is a great singer too. Is it all right if I introduce you to him? And this was Ben.
And I think the manager at the time thought, oh, here we go, you know, he's got a friend that I have to hear sing kind of thing. I went along and he went, brilliant, that's it, there you go. A1 is complete.
I'm Paul.
I'm Ben.
I'm Mark.
And I'm Christian.
Possibly the others were even at that point thinking that they might be a bit too old to be in a boy band or that it wasn't cool enough or whatever, but I was game. I was like, yeah, let's do it, I'm ready.
But the jazz hands boy band vibe didn't stop at the music.
So as soon as I found out we were going to dance, that's when the nerves kicked in. I was like, oh, geez, I've been behind a piano my whole life and dancing is just, I'm like an ironing board. It's just not going to happen.
Well, Paul was the only one of us that could really dance, you know, that was his background. We kind of hid behind him quite a lot of the time, which was kind of hard because he's kind of small. We just wanted to do what was going to make us popular. So if that was going to be dancing, if that was going to be smiling all the time or winking or whatever the hell it was that they told us was going to work, we were like, fine, that's what we'll do.
First single, Number 6, first single straight into the top 10. I'm just thinking, how is this happening?
Whatever happens now, no one can take away the fact that I've actually released a single in the UK.
A1, who were named after a large sheet of paper, were off to a flying start. With each new release, their fan base grew.
So after the first single, it was, it was just getting better and better. And, the next single was number 5, the next single was number 3. We were on the front of the magazines, we were on every TV show. We'd have sort of girls chasing us wherever we went, people stalking us, camping outside our house and all that kind of stuff.
But within the band, there was an intense battle of egos going on.
Me and Christian always had a bit of it wasn't rocky, it was more competitive.
Ben always loved to be in the center of attention. And sometimes I wanted to be there too.
They were very competitive with each other. For some reason, they'd always go for the same girl. He was like, it's obvious this is gonna cause problems. And I think there was always a bit of one-upmanship. Like if Christian was interested in a girl, Ben would be like, oh, I can go for her. I can get her before him. There was a clash.
And he turned around and he went like this. And it was, I kind of remember it in slow motion. It was sort of, he was going to punch me like this, and then he suddenly thought in his head, this is a bad idea. So he opened his hand and he went, and slapped me. And I went, you just slapped me. He went, yes, I did.
Because Ben was the most popular one, it was a bit of, I guess, envy from my side. And thinking back now, I probably would have handled it a little bit differently.
But thinking back, I would have hated myself. But at the time, I thought I was brilliant. We're forever in love with you.
Fast forward to the year 2000, and boy band A1, who were named after a plumbing company near the start of the Yellow Pages, are also on a roll. With 4 top 10 hits, a top 20 debut album, and a sellout UK tour.
In the middle of our UK tour at the moment, and in some of the songs, all we have to do is point the microphone at the audience and they're all singing it better than you can. It's excellent.
Just one thing eluded them.
The one thing that we didn't have from the first album was a #1 record.
Our manager came up with the idea of doing a cover, and Take On Me was suggested.
We just thought Take On Me would put us in a different light. I mean, there's no harm in doing a cover just to further your career. Everybody's done that.
And the track took them straight to the top of the charts.
We were just on a constant high then. I mean, it was almost like one peak after another.
We'd taken a massive jump. We were suddenly, not a newcomer band. We were one of the big boys.
But behind the band's happy-go-lucky image, you'll never guess what. Trouble was brewing in the A1 camp.
I think by the time the second album came, that might have been where there were sort of a few cracks starting to show.
When we were recording Say My Brand of You, we went over to write with a great writer in New York, and Paul didn't want to join in on the writing session.
We really wanted him to come along, but he didn't want to do it. So, then obviously he wasn't part of writing that #1 hit, which I think afterwards he sort of held against us a little bit.
Same Old Brand New You topped the charts and propelled them into the record books for having 2 #1s in just 16 weeks. And top awards soon followed. First, a gong for the band's resident pin-up.
Smash Hits Most Fanciable Male, it's Ben from A1!
I did win Most Fanciable Male, which was a milestone, to say the least.
Thank you very much to everyone that voted me for this award. And because I won it, I reckon that means I'm going to get lucky tonight. So I'm just wondering, does anyone want to come backstage and have a bit of hot action?
Things just couldn't get better. Everything was going our way, and then to top it off, we won a Brit Award for Best New Band. And that year, it was the year, Craig David was nominated, Coldplay were nominated. We were in good company there. We all said something, but the TV edited it down to just me going, what's going on?
Wow, what's going on?
And it was just, made me look like a total muppet.
It was an award voted for by the public, but not everyone was a fan.
This award ceremony over the years has been accused of not having a sense of humour, but then when you see A1 winning Best Newcomer, you know that somebody's taking a piss somewhere.
Boy band, easy target, and people like that, indie bands and stuff like that, The first people they knock are your Justin Biebers, your One Directions. It's like, yeah, right, okay, well, you just wish you were doing what we were doing.
And we did, you know, a cover of Don't Look Back in Anger for Noel Gallagher for his kind words about us after winning the Brit Award. Love you.
But their popularity in the UK was a drop in the ocean compared to their standing in Asia, as their next big tour would prove.
The Asian market really, took to us. And Philippines was one of our main territories, Singapore, Thailand.
In Manila, we had 25,000 people show up at a signing at a mall. Things were just crazy.
Instead of the normal thing where we would try and walk through a crowd and people would be wanting to sort of touch us, they wanted just a piece of us. They're pulling hair, they were ripping jackets.
But nothing could prepare them for what happened next.